Okay, I just saw John Wick 3. I was having an absolute blast. I hate who was it? The actress Asia Kate Dillon. The reason I do, and here's my justification for me hating her as an actress, not just her as a character. When she was in Billions, the show Billions, season 1 was phenomenal. All people had both their strengths and their weaknesses. They showed that. With the main character, Axe, I don't remember what his first name was. It's the name of the company, I think. But Axe, Mr. Axe, I think is his last name. He he was shown to have this charisma, power, authority, rich, wealthy bank, much money in the bank, and he was able to have he cares about the people, so he always tries to find a way to give back on a personal level. It's like, wow, we really love him. But within again the first 5 minutes, if I from what I remember, again objectively speaking, I have to go back and break down scene by scene by scene. But I've only seen it once, and again probably about a year ago. The very beginning, we get to see his strength, but then he goes into the bathroom and he's like wiping. He's in the dark. He's by himself. He's looking himself in the mirror, and it's like, oh, there's something more than just this strength that he's protruding. There's more behind the scenes of like maybe he's just doing all this for an act, or maybe there's some other issues. There's other things just beyond here's how good I look. The second season of the first episode of the second season. Contrast that to what happened to the first episode of the first season. Actress Asia, again, I don't know if she has no control technically over this. Again, actresses and actors versus the writers, the TV showrunners. She was portrayed as this very strong, competent woman, whom it was incredibly important to talk about her lesbianness. Like, okay, I don't know why that's the most important part of us knowing about her character. What if in 5 episodes we then get to see her girlfriend come in or something? Like, hey, I don't. If somebody starts talking about how their heterosexualness, it's like, hey, did you hear all those women you slept with last night? It's like, okay, why does that have to be a thing? Like, yeah, I'm just amazing. And with Iron Man, it wasn't us. He wasn't telling us how good he was with women, of putting women into bed with him. They literally shown him being contrary to a reporter, and then literally 5 minutes later, bringing her to bed. The next scene was bringing her to bed. We don't get told how amazing it was. We are shown it. And I wasn't shown how amazing she was in Billions Season 2, Episode 1. She kind of brought a little bit of that crap into John Wick 3. If you haven't seen it, go see it. It's worth it. Just if you see her, I would recommend just ignoring her because she's dumb. It's like her character, she plays a good villain, but there's like 2 scenes that I don't know. I'm not a movie critic. I can't talk about it in great detail because a lot of people haven't seen it. But if I was to discuss it with another person, John Wick 3, I wanted to give a 9.5. Biased, I probably, with my bias, love for John Wick. But then I had to scale it back to 9.1. And then I'd have to scale it to 8.9. I'm kind of roughly going back down to 8.3. It was such a good film until she did 2 scenes. 2 scenes in particular, well, 3. I can go with 3. A third one's more hypocritical, which I don't know if they're going to actually bring that as a reason for, like, the ending of John Wick. I don't, like, whether or not she's a good, like, whether or not the story was told good. But there were 2 scenes in particular that made me go, why are you here? That's just my own opinion about it. I can't go into great detail because, again, this is not the video for it. But I just wanted to vent that. That was... Yeah. Again, any movie that it's short-haired, strong female, check. What? The second movie, the mute woman, whether it didn't matter about her sexuality didn't matter. She was a strong female villain in the second John Wick. Phenomenal. Again, I was so I had my what is it called? Expectations subverted because I wasn't expecting a villain to be mute. And I was like, huh. I was baffled by that. And then she got more competent along the way, and she was able to communicate via sign language, and John Wick understood her. There was no impediment to her being who she was in character versus anyone else. But in the third movie, again, the actress, she felt like she was forcing herself into the situation to be powerful. If her as an actress and the character, they needed to scale the character back if they wanted to put Asia in that position. Scale her back, not be this powerful. And she's not as powerful as she says. Oh my gosh. Okay, I want to keep going on that. I could. Oh my gosh. The reason I got this entire video started, if you wanted to hear me bitch about things, was I had this idea. I've already been programming for like 3 hours today, and which was really phenomenal, is I had a spark of an idea. I had a whimsical moment. What if I could do the most I possibly could to create my own breakout game? So if I go here, I go to breakout game. I go to images. Okay, just very simply, this is breakout. You have a paddle at the bottom, or I'm gonna go with paddle. I don't know what else to call it. It's now a paddle in my world. Excuse me. And then there's a ball, this yellow thing, that's gonna go up and hit the bricks, and then it's gonna bounce around as much as possible, depending on the physics and etc. And then it's going to come back down. So you have to catch with the paddle, and it's going to bounce back up. So it's pretty much like ping pong by yourself with some bouncy things that it's supposed to hit at the very top. And there's different forms of doing this. Here's a very simple version, complicated version where you have multiple balls, graphics, details, audio, trails behind each ball depending on how fast or slow, and each one has its own power up. I was curious personally how to do this, because I think this is the old Atari version. Breakout, what is the game called? Atari. I think I have this game actually in the other room. I don't have it hooked up. I don't know if I can actually play it. I don't know if I can actually have any of the correct hookups, but I do have the Atari in the other room. I played this when I was with my grandma at her place, so I miss her. She's not with us anymore, which is sad. But to create my own breakout game, I think would be a very fun project, because I think I can actually do it. I don't know why I care, but I want to go through that process. I want to see what I can actually do. So I'm going to, and this was here last time, I'm going to bring my text editor. I'm going to write some notes. So how do I make my own breakout game? In processing, to be more specific. In processing. So what I would say is I would need some very simple rules to follow by, and then breaking down each one after that. There is a website called Workflowy. I think it's .io. I don't know if it's .com. I'm gonna go with, just text search engine. The infinite document. Come on, you got it. Come on, load already. Load. Yes. Okay, apparently I have to sign in. Dumb. Okay, let's do that. So, login. I don't know if I have a login. And okay, apparently I have no idea what it is. Sign up if I don't know what it is. Never remember what it is. Google Chrome or whatever browser I'm using. I don't like you. I mean, I love you for doing what you're doing, but get out of here. Uh-oh, there we go. Apparently typing is a new skill for me. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. Yeah. Uh-oh. Apparently it already exists. Okay. So I'm going to... Man, it actually would work better. So I'm going to pause it. No, I'm going to go through the entire process. I'm going to go through the entire process. Try to make it as entertaining as possible. If I could juggle at this point, you know, if I had like if I had OBS running with having a streaming, I'd probably do a cutscene, but I don't. There's some issues that are happening behind that scene, and I want to give. I'm going to just directly record it with a different software until I can get some type of rhythm going. So I'm going to log in. I'm going to do boop, and then I'm going to go that. Okay. I wonder what the weather's like. You have a window right there. I know, but it's so far. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we're resetting stuff. Don't worry, don't worry. We will definitely get to it. Work. Blah, blah, blah. Oh. Uh-oh. There we go. Now if we go back to this, we're going to go to... Okay, here we go. Okay, so we have work. Oh, so bright. I want settings. I'm going to change the theme to vintage. Oh yeah. I'll go with vintage. Done. Okay. So the title right here, all these new things. Wow, that was kind of a waste. Because I don't know how to like type stuff in, and then you can make this into a subsection of the thing before it and bring all of them up. That would be a very good idea. So I'll at least do that for right now. I think I can do it in here, but if I'm just going to make very simple ones, if I'm going to go with complicated, let's go with this one. If I don't like what it's doing, let's see if I can copy and paste it, because if I can't do that, I might as well do it in the text document, because if I can do it in here, and I can cut, modify, paste, and edit much more easily in here, if I can't do it in here. So I'm going to do this. This should have a... There we go. Now I'm going to cut, paste. I've already done the work. I might as well do it. Yeah, we'll go with it. Okay. So, the whole goal is to have a break out game. And what I need for that is a list of things. A paddle, and then each one will be a function. Each one will then play off into the other things. It's just I would need a paddle. I would need the bricks. I would need the ball. Actually, I would also need to have power-ups. I think that's it. No. I would need a timer for the beginning and the end. I would need a timer, score counter. I think that's it. Yeah. Yeah, we'll go with that. So, let's see if I can zoom this in. Wow, that's much easier. So, paddle, bricks, ball, power-ups, and timer. So I'm just going to go back to over here. Search engine, breakout game, look for a few things on the user interface, the graphics user interface, see what I can see on the... If there's anything additional I'd probably need. Breakout, advanced game. Let's go with this. I think that's it, actually. I don't see anything else. Okay. Yeah, I'll go with that. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That is it. Just the user interface, the timer, and the score counter. So, if I wanted to have a score counter, I can. Optional. 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 but what I want to do is have something that's functioning. So, with the paddle itself, very simply, what rules would I need to have? It's going to be stagnant because I did create this in a processing project. I'm going to open it up right now, the incrementing variable, opening right now. Here it is, and pressing play. Because the simple basis of this, oh, no, not the incrementing value. Variables? Maybe the variables. Running this one. Yeah, okay. Closing all this off. In this very simple program, 15 lines of code with some spaces, pressing run, and here's the code right before you, if you'd like to do anything with that. The whole part of the breakout game is that there's, with the paddle, it's at the bottom, the y-axis is static. It is only at one level. I can make it difficult with some power-ups, increasing and decreasing the size or how high the paddle goes. So that's something that I can even put. Let me do... yeah. Go with that. Okay. So the paddle, the power-ups. What? Okay. I don't know how to use this. So let's go back one. There we go. Power-ups. Oh, gotcha. Oh, that makes so much more sense. Okay, I know how to do this. I press enter and then tab. Boom, too easy. Power-ups. Boons. Banes. Boons are good, banes are bad. Boon would be paddle distance lowers. More time to respond to balls. A bane, actually there would be both a boon and a bane for each one, but it'd probably be easier just to have one in each one because lasers is not necessarily a something you can really, it's its own thing. So, and like a sticky paddle, that's another one. So paddle distance rises. Less time to respond, to respond to balls. So another idea would be the lengthening and shortening, the widening and shortening, Barney's gonna start with a shortening bread. The paddle itself, so widening paddle. Is that how you spell it? That's how you spell it. It just doesn't look right. I spelled it correctly. I was intuitively correct. It just looks weird. That's not how you spell it. And then shortening of the paddle. You get a paddling of the paddle. Extra balls. I think that would be one. Extra balls. I'm gonna go with faster, faster balls and slower balls can either be a boon or a bane. It's just the mixing and matching. I'm gonna, Oh, I could actually make this a bit more, not agnostic, what I'm looking for. Balanced. Not fair. It's not the word fair. It's regardless of whether or not it's a boon or a bane, the activity of of what's happening. So I'm going to remove banes. That doesn't need to exist. Cut. Paste. There we go. This is a lot easier to use. Save. I don't know how much I have. Probably just this one. Oh, that sucks. Really? Do I not have access to save it? Save. I cannot save it. I can only use it. Again, that's really good for their company for me to purchase it, but I'm just going to cut, exit out of it, and just use the text editor. My goodness. The paddle bricks, power-ups. I'm going to remove boons. Paddle timer. There we go. So paddle distance change. More or less time to respond to balls. Gets rid of this line entirely. Excuse me. Widening or short. I could just shortening of the paddle. Extra balls. Ball increase. Multiply. How to do this, I have no idea, but I could just create at least one and then work with that. Having at least 3 power-ups that I can do. Ball multiplication and then them having the velocity change depending on where it is and then it's splitting, that's going to be too complicated for what I want to do. But I can increase the ball velocity. Extra balls, ball multiplies, yeah. I can't, extra life. Extra life. 3 lives defaults. Yeah. The widening or shortening of the paddle distance change, or, and what was it? Speed of the ball. Okay. You know, for simplicity's sake, I'm just going to go with the speed of the ball. There's no lives. If you fail, you just reset. That'd be much easier. So, putting a note. If you fail, when the ball falls, reset. And reset. Okay, very simple. So 3 power-ups just for beginners' sake. The paddle itself, if I go back to the original code, there's one line that I care for. The paddle is moves with mouse from left to right. Example. There we go. Now the bricks itself, I want to have each one have 3 layers, or some can even have 1 or 2. But each brick has 3 layers. 1 layer, it's going to start yeah. So what are the layers? Layer 1, white. Layer 2, gray. Layer 3, dark gray. Wait a second, if you notice, I think in an earlier video, I put capital, anything with a capital G, a pronoun, would have an E instead of an A. I made a little bit of a note for that. But now in this one, I'm looking at capital G-R-E-Y, which is supposed to be the pronoun that I made a decision, a video or two ago, today. And it's not a pronoun, it's a color. So if I'm going to go with that, I might as well just go with that. So we'll just go with G-R-E-Y. Like Barry White, you can have a color last name, so either works. Let's just go with this. Grey, like cray, cray, cray. Gray, cray, ray. Yeah, you could do it with an American version. Okay, let's go with this version for now. Dark gray. That's it. Dark white. Yeah, we'll go with this. Light gray, because we'll go white, light gray, and dark gray. And maybe like a black background. Black. Just for simplicity purposes. Or dark gray. Excuse me. So, each brick has 3 layers. Layer 1, white. Layer 2 is light gray. Layer 3 is dark gray. So, now for each brick, when you hit a brick, when the ball's outline hits the brick's outline, bounce off of it, and reduce the value of the shape to, and we could do it randomly. And that's going to be a different logic, but I'm gonna force this is no machine learning here, or random, maybe even randomizing. Gonna try to force it as much as possible. Just weird way of thinking about it. Yeah. So when the ball's outline hits the brick's outline, bounce off of it and reduce the value of the brick by 1. If the brick's value is at layer 3, layer 2, layer 1, and if the brick's value is at 1 and would proceed to 0, then remove the block. Or I could do it a different way. Maybe, I don't know. If the brick's value is at 1 and would proceed to 0, then remove the block. Yeah. So each block that would be up here at the top of the paddle, each brick like that. So I could I'm gonna copy and paste and make this a new. This is going to be a pet project, I guess. So copy. I'm going to go to... What? Okay, apparently I have to close out all of them before I can actually open the one that I want. It's weird. I think I was wrong there, but I'll go with it. Opening. Paste. Get started, whatever. File, save. Let's go up. Let's go up. Yeah. Breakout game. Okay, I have jury duty within like 4 days, 5 days. Oh, 4 days, yeah. Earlier I thought it was the 4th. Nope, it's the 3rd. So, don't want to be late to that. That would suck. Legally bound to do some things. Okay, so we're going to run it. Okay. Now, I am going to, very simply, there's going to be some if-thens here, but I'm just going to do some stuff. I don't want the background to keep overlaying other things. I want it fixed. It's in the background. There's no need to do anything else with the background. So background's going to go back up to setup, where it will only run once. With the draw section, with the draw function, I'm going to draw bricks. Let's create 3. Three in kind of not a random place, but I could just create 1. Let's create 3. I could create 9. Let's just create one. If I can create one, then I can multiply and duplicate. There's no reason to have 100. There's no reason to have 2. There's no reason to have more than one. Let me get one done, and then I can multiply it. Multiple times. But shouldn't that definition be an exponential? So with bricks, I'm simply going to write a I'm going to draw a rectangle with. Don't tell me what to do. I'm going to put it right in the middle. It's going to be humongous. So it's going to be 250 because that's the half of 500. X 250. Let's go with 350? 325? That probably. Let's go with 200. 275. 275. 200 by 100. Yeah. Let's go with that. What the Look at that beauty. What is going on here? Okay, so I am creating... What? The freaking heck is going on? Oh my goodness. Okay, I know what's wrong. I prevented... The reason that background was there in the draw is because when I would each time that I'm moving my mouse, it's another rectangle to print. So background was removing the rectangles in the back by overlaying the prior rectangle being printed. I have to bring this back, and I need to see what happens. Okay. The background's gonna happen first. Reset all drawn shapes. Reset canvas. I think that'd be a good word. Canvas. There we go. Play. There we go. Now I want to make this one white. So I'm going to fill this one. Fill 0. That'd make it black. I want to make it white. And then I could have one below it, above it, in the middle, and etc. 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 255. So I'm going to play. Okay. So what if I put brick? What if I have a function called bricks? Void function, which bricks. Brick. And I'm going to do something with it. So I don't necessarily know how to make a function activated in another function per se, which is a great question to ask. If I don't know how to do that, there's a lot I don't know how to do. So how do I figure that out? Yeah, I want you to, there we go. Bricks. Well, that's kind of duh. I want to create a brick. I may have to go and look at other processing code to figure out how do you use and call a function to use the commands within that function. I want to, let's just do it right here and see if what works. I don't think it'll work, but if it does work, save a bunch of time. Brick. So just execute it. Okay, apparently that does work. So let me just remove it by commenting it out and then push play. Well, that was easy. That was so much easier than I thought it would be. Just call the function. Really? 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 Are you sure? Yes, I am. Just call the function. So, the function, brick. Okay. Now, the brick itself, pressing run again. It's a pretty big brick, by the way. The brick size, I want to make 100. Let's go with 125. What the heck? Oh, numlock was off. Number lock. 125 by 50? Does that work? That's a good enough brick just for us to see. Yeah, just for us to see how it works. I want to create a brick. So there's going to be different level of bricks. That's important because, again, over here using our notes of what we have available to us is, dang it, bringing this off screen for a sec. Which I don't like doing that. I want to have everything in just one screen. All things in one screen. Our layer 3 is the white one. So if fresh brick or layer 3 brick, I don't know how to write that. Before I go with level 1, 2, and 3, it would be important for me to know how to, with this breakout game, I need to know how to create a ball that can bounce, and then a ball that can bounce, and once it hits the brick, it removes it. Because until I can learn that, creating multiple layers, it feels like I'm doing a lot of stuff because it's dependent on how the ball will relate and have that relationship with the brick. I need to figure out that relationship first before I can start just adding details, which is something I would have, again, if I just held it in like a poop or a fart. Ladies. Wow, that was inappropriate. And yes, sir. Okay, so the ball, how to create an ellipse, a circle, that moves and bounces. What the heck? Okay, I did a lot of stuff. And bounces. So my question would be, I need to go to processing, probably either GitHub or Stack Overflow. I may need to look and dissect some code. If it's too complicated, it's too complicated, and I can just find something else I can do. But to not do something is dumb. That's retarded. What I need to do is to, again, intellectually, but to understand an emotional level and to be fearful and scared. Regardless of whether or not I'm fearful or scared of, like, that's a bunch of code and getting overwhelmed by how, like, that's a lot, I don't know how to deal with it, breaking it down. Finding a different process, finding a different code, finding a different, again, I could find a different project to do that I can complete, and building up my confidence like that on a neurological level. So processing, bouncing ball, fantastic. The bouncing ball with, Daniel Schiffman. There we go. That's exactly what I want. Yeah, there's a video of the bouncing ball in processing that Daniel Schiffman specifically has, and there's this one. So p vector, if I remember correctly, that was a command. Okay. So void setup, size, location, velocity, gravity apparently is something. So I'd say that's a lot more than I thought, so I'm just going to go copy. I'm going to go over here into this. Let me create a new one. Paste. So here's the code. And again, it's processing.org, bouncing ball for the original code. So I'm going to play. And there we go. Now, I think the ball is bouncing based off the center piece. That's a question I have. Again, it's a very simple code, so I can go line by line trying to break it down a little bit. Okay, and the velocity is breaking. What I need to do is I want to have the gravity be at 0, because I want it to just like bounce like the DVD logo in those old DVD players of when it was on screensaver, just boop 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 boop. Okay, how long was he going to do that? So I'm going to remove the gravity. How do I remove the gravity? Velocity. Add gravity to the velocity. No, I do not want to do that. I can have, I'm going to remove gravity's variable, and again, gravity almost nowhere else. Nowhere else does it exist. So, I'm going to push play Oh, okay, so it has p vector 0, so I'm assuming the x-axis has gravity in the x in one direction, while 0.2, or x and y, the y has some 0.2. I want to actually see how that works before I start removing it. So I'm going to run it again. Okay, it's the same code. I'm going to make this 0.5. So play. Whoa. That is bouncing much more rigorously. Oh, gravity in the other direction? What about 0.7? 0.75. That looks like it's going up. So let me just make this a 1. Play. I don't know what's going on here. Let's make this a 5. Let's just go extreme. Boom, 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 boom. Are you seeing it? Are you seeing this with me? It's actually growing in height because it's taking more time to reach the ground each time it bounces. This is literally Flubber. This is the movie Flubber. This is awesome. It's not what I expected. Let's make this 0. So I'm going to press play. That was pretty cool. There we go. That's exactly what I wanted. Now the... Uh-oh. Now how does it hit the left, right, and bottom, but not the top? Why? Yeah. Bounce off edges. If the x-axis... Oh! Okay, so what I need to do is, if the x-axis, if the location of x is greater than the width... Wait. Oh, if it's the width... I don't know. Okay, so apparently it's gone. it's not there anymore. I'm gonna do 0.1. 0.01. That's what I was looking for. See how that works. I'm just gonna play with it right now. Bounce. It should eventually... Yeah, I saw it slow down just slightly. Just slightly. There it is. Hey, buddy. Oh, hey. Oh, where are you going? And it's coming back. There we go. That's pretty obnoxious. Okay, so I'm going to make this back to 0.0. Yeah, 0.01. What I would need to change is it bounce off the edges. I have the X and the Y. So I think I have both the left and right, but only the bottom. The height, right there. Okay, that's what it is. For those who probably can't see because of the screen, the bounce off edges section is that this... Now, there's no descriptor, which would be really cool for Daniel Schiffman. Vectors. Yeah. Okay. That the X section, the walls and the floor and the ceiling, and then the walls. The left wall and the right wall are both being addressed here. The top left-hand side of the screen is where 0, 0 is. So, width being the size of... Oh my gosh, that's how you do it. Oh my gosh. Whew. Also, I need to probably put on some pants. I'm going to go and grab some pants and do that. Yeah. Okay, I think I have an idea how to make it where a brick will stop. A brick, when two shapes collide, they will bounce off of each other. Or one will bounce off the other while the other one may stay static. Excuse me. So what I would need is I first need to understand this. Oh! Okay. Some things wrapping around my head. Void key pressed. And I'm going to make Reset game. To reset the game, press space key. Press any key. I don't know how to do that yet, but once I learn how to, then yes. I don't know how to do that yet, but that was just an idea of, okay, press the space bar. Press the space bar to reset the game. Okay. Now here, what I want to do is, I'm going to modify it just a bit. Oh, okay. So I have one for brick. Why don't I have one for ball? Void ball. And I'm going to copy and paste all of this. It's going to be a very big ball. I'm going to decrease that size to, let's say 25. 25. Okay. I'm going to press play. Location cannot be resolved due to a variable. Uh-oh. Something's wrong. Oh, location X and location Y have not been addressed. So I'm going to very simply rect X. No, I have no idea. Let's hold off on this for a second. But I'll just create an ellipse. So just a random circle somewhere and see if I can actually use the function. Random circle somewhere, so 100, some location, by 100. With a 25 and 25 width and height. Uh-oh. Oh, it wasn't called. Thus, we don't get it. So first we need a brick and we need a ball. So I'm going to call ball. There we go. Look at that circle. Look at that beauty. It's a beaut. Okay, so the thought process that I have is that I want to figure out how to make X right here that's already working when we press play. We get to see that the ball is bouncing. When it bounces, the center is where it bounces off of. What I need is the distance between the center and the left side if it bounces too far to the left, and the distance between the middle and the right if it bounces too much to the right. Same thing for up top. If it goes to the bottom, it goes away. That would be important to do. So I'm going to close this out. The width, if it's the location X, don't know what that is. Oh, add velocity to the location. That's weird. Okay. Sounded like a cow. So the location itself, we are creating a value called location. We're adding velocity and gravity to that location. What we will do is create an ellipse over that location, and it will continuously move. That is pretty freaking fantastic. So I want to still go back down to the left and the right. We can move on with other things, but with the X location to the left, the size of the ellipse is 48 by 48, the circle. What I want to do is if the X location is greater than the width, if it goes too far to the right, and if it goes too far, it goes to the right, and if it goes to the left. So I would actually put these two in different locations. I'd switch these, personally. It's weird. Excuse me. Or right, and I'd put this one as, let me just go ahead and copy. I don't know, just save it for just a moment. Bouncing ball. go with that. Okay. So let's go ahead and play it just to make certain that the code is correct. Okay, code didn't change, everything's still functioning. So both, actually, I don't know. I need to make certain that's gonna hit the wall. That's the correct part. There we go. Hit the wall, we're good. If it goes too far to the left, I need to take half, or 20, or 24. So if the location is less than 24, or the location, or the x-axis is greater than the width minus 24, plus or minus half, well, balls radius. So we'll go with that. So I'm going to press play, and it should now bounce with the left and the right of the ball's total. Hey, there we go! Okay, so let me do the bottom as well. So, I mean, if the right worked, I'm assuming that the left worked, but I'll do a full test. I did a test, something worked. Location, it's probably best to actually test both of them. So, it's probably best to test both of them. I just get bored. So, come on, ball. Come on. It worked on the right-hand side, and it should work on the left because the exact same principle was used. Yep. Okay, so now I need the bottom. So the bottom is, if it's greater than the height, and height, again, the top left-hand corner in processing is 0, 0. So the larger the number gets, the further down it goes. So I need to do height minus the radius of the ball, so it can go up. 0, 0 is at the top, it's its origin. The larger the number is, it goes down. The smaller the number, it goes back up. So height, which is width and height, are in pink, are representing the size of the canvas. So I'm going to do minus 24. What the heck? That's wrong. Oh, that looked funny. Let's do 25. Minus 25. Uh-oh. That bunked. Okay, let's do that again. I did something wrong. Why does it not bounce? So if the y location is greater than the height, is greater. What? Okay, let's do height minus 50. What the freaking heck? How do I solve that? What's going on? Who are you? What am I? That's weird. Okay, so if location y, if the y, the ball's y is greater than height, you know, XY chromosome, if the ball is y, hey, hi-oh, sex joke. If the location is, if the ball's y coordinate is greater than the height, meaning it should mean, if I understand this correctly, that it's actually going below that coordinate. What? Velocity times, what? Oh, then it goes back up. I don't get that. Location, y equals height. What? Well, if that's the case, I want to reduce this. I have no idea where this one came from, so I have no idea in my memory. What the heck? What the freaking heck? Location.y equals height. Apparently, that shouldn't exist, period. I don't know why it worked or how it worked, location.y equals height. That should not be there. It shouldn't, because I actually got rid of it. Doesn't need it anymore. So we're going to go back to our original plan of 20 minus 24 being the radius of the ball. So when we put that into play, now we have a bouncing ball that hits the bottom of the screen and the left and the right hand side of the screen. Now what I want to do is also create a function for the top of the section as well. And the ceiling is 0. Y equals 0. So I'm going to copy. Well, I'm going to make this into parentheses. It's okay to make it into double parentheses. It's just unnecessary. So, or this. Oh, no. I want to put that on the right side. See, the top and the bottom, left to right, top to bottom. As if I was reading English versus Japanese or Chinese. I don't know if Chinese and Japanese, I think that you read from top to bottom, but you read from right to left. I don't know if Chinese you read from bottom to top. I don't know if that's correct, but it is reverse in Japan, I think. I read my share of manga. Okay, the good kind, not the crap that people like. Am I defecating other people, or am I digging myself into a bigger hole? If you answer the latter, right you are. 20 points to you. Finn, here's our runners-up prize. So what I'm going to do is from top or bottom plus minus ball's radius. Okay, ball's radius. So the code that we have available now is, there we go. So it's not height. If it's less than 0 or less than 24, which is half of whatever the radius is, the radius is of the ball. Now, it's much easier to make a variable, so all I have to do is just change one number rather than keep going and changing each one of these locations. It would be important to do that. I want to first implement it. It's still working. Cool. Now, I want to increase this back to like 1 or 5. I want to increase this to 5 and see the ball just go freaking nuts. What the freaking... You saw that, right? Boo, boo, boo. Ooh, la, 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 la. What the heck? It just floats away. The ball literally floats away. I don't know how to stop that. What the heck? Okay, let's make this 3. Okay, if it bounces, it probably went too high of a number. There we go. Now we got some bounce going. And then it just floats away. What the heck? Maybe... I don't know, man. I don't know how it's glitching like that. Gotta make certain that there's no gravity, because I don't care for... Oh, gravity would be a really cool power-up. I'm not gonna use it. I'm just saying it'd be kind of cool. I said it was really cool, and then I said it'd be kind of cool. Make up your mind. Gosh. Okay. So, the good thing is, what I now need is I'm going to create these things. I do not need gravity for my thing, for my ball. I'm just commenting it out. But I do need velocity and location. So I'm going to copy these things, come over here into my breakout game, come to the very top above setup, place those two variables above, and what I would also like to do is add the height. Is it height and width or width and height when creating an ellipse or a shape? So I'm going to go to processing.org, processing. Let's go with ellipse, because that's the one I'm creating actually. Ellipse. Okay, here we go. So this 55 number, C and D. C is the width, D is the height. Good to know. So I'm going to come back down here, and I'm going to note that shape X, Y, width, height. Height. Wait, width and height? Height. Okay, width and height. Height. Is height even a word? Height? H-E-I-D-T-H? I don't know. Height. Height's a word. I just spelling it correctly, maybe? Is a colloquial variant of height formed by analogy with similar measurement terms such as length, breadth, width, and depth, which end in th. Height might be considered incorrect in formal writing, but no dictionaries that we know of list it as a living word. Okay. Okay, we'll go with height. So we'll just go with height. It's weird to just have a th and not a non-th word together when they're pretty much correlated in the exact same. It's a weird correlation. Okay. I can remove this gravity part. Comment it out. What I want to do is in setup is create an original place. That's what it's doing, if I understand correctly. Is that the location and velocity. The reason that the ball starts at the top left-hand corner is because the coordinates for location starts at 0, 0. I think that's a really good place to start out. So if I was to create a ball, I would want the ball to be on top of the breakout of the paddle. So I'm going to copy and paste these two variables. Again, it's much more important to know why you're placing what where. That's very important in my opinion. Who knows or who cares? Who cares? I care. Me. I care. Me. So location and velocity. Oh, no. Pressed a button. Got to make certain. Okay, just making certain. Okay, because that was the button to stop my recording, F12 button. So really glad. It's right above the backspace too. So I was deleting old content much or sooner than I should have. So now that I have velocity, location, and velocity here, what I also would like to bring over, because I don't really understand what velocity does in particular. Is this the x-axis of how quickly it goes on the x-axis and how quickly it goes on the y-axis? If that's correct, fantastic. If not, what I want to do with the ellipse is the starting point of the ball will be at the original x location should be wherever the paddle is. So, excuse me, pardon me. Oh, and it should be attached. It should be attached. It should originally be start equals on paddle. Click mouse to release ball. Excuse me. Now we got some things here. So again, we're at a really good breaking point. I think about it again, an hour increment or going even past that would be really good. But I want to be able to continue to do this in stride. I don't want to do this as a sprint. Doing a marathon is much better. I think that we made a lot of progress, but I do want to end off on a few things. I want to end off on one particular thing where I can just press play, have something happen. So, pressing play, we have a ball, we have a brick, and we have a paddle. The paddle works. The stroke of the brick. Gotcha. The brick shall have doesn't have to have an outline. So, why does it have, stroke for the ball? Why? Because if noticing here, then before, gotcha. So what I need to do is before it creates the rectangle again that we see above here in both, for the paddle, I need to set that back to green. So I'm going to do, because in the ball function, stroke is created. That's the only one where a stroke is created, and I don't need to have that, periods, which would make it easier for all the other ones. Just a solid color would make everything easier. So I'm going to press play. I have a ball. It's black? What? Where's stroke? Stroke is happening somewhere. Ha which would suck. That'd be horrible. Stroke weight? No, I don't need that. Play? There we go. You know what? It's simple now, okay? It's uniform, it's simpler. I'll go with it. Now what I want to do is I'm going to have to see, I kind of like to take a break. I have a lot of ideas going on here, but I do want to be able to make, before I take a break, I need to make certain that when I come back to it, I can read it. So this will be the paddle. Why don't I just put that as the paddle? This is going to be the paddle. Yeah. Cutting this, and I'm going to create, oh no, before I do that, before I start cutting things, let me make a place for it to be pasted to before I start cutting things out of existence. So I'm going to create another function called something paddle, and that shall have these things in it, and cut, paste. This shall come here too. Come over here. Initialize. If I want to initialize, I might as well initialize way up here. Set a starting point for the paddle to exist, and then it updates. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Oh. Okay, one good question I have, one thing that I'd like to leave off, and then I'll come back to it. If the paddle, if what I used to do with one of them, I don't remember what it was. Is that set the mouse, no, when clicked, yeah, no, when key pressed is 0, press the spacebar to reset the game. Okay, now how to initially do that, I have no idea. It's probably like to start the game, press the spacebar. If the game has already been initiated, then we create the game set up. But when spacebar is pressed, bring paddle to center. So maybe having at the very beginning of the game, to begin, press the spacebar. And then by pressing the spacebar, it immediately resets the paddle to the very beginning of the screen with the ball on the paddle. Because as of right now, if I press play, it resets. Uh-oh. I messed. Oh, haha, I know why. I didn't call the function. That's why it doesn't exist. So when I call the function paddle, which has all the information, the paddle's on the left-hand side. I want to be able to make that right in the center, so it's just, and then having like maybe some words here saying to begin, click left click on your mouse, boop, and then the mouse, and then the mouse, the ball will start just bouncing around. So there we go. Again, making progress, I'm making progress, and yeah, talking it out is so helpful for me. I don't know if I can like stress that enough. I don't know if I can like highlight that enough. Conversation. Talking my thought process out has probably been the most amount of success I have achieved in almost any other thing. Because it's, I've been working towards this unintentionally, again, thank you God, of lots of failures, YouTube business of trying to make my own logical, my own, hey guys, look at me YouTube channel, but instead how I was doing the YouTube channel thing, logic of whatever reason, whether I was right or wrong. I have made probably 100 videos of just me explaining what I believed was correct. Whether or not I was correct, I may have, again, with a lot of videos, I did with a lot of videos, more than I should have. Then egotistical, then judgmental. But being judgmental was the biggest part, not just having a big ego. You can have a big ego, but the moment you start judging other people, whoa, that's worse. So I was judging other people for what they believed in. I did another video like that with David Pakman, which I shouldn't have. I should have been grateful that he showcased some bad logic, some bad thought process, he might have some reasons behind it, but the principle I just disliked. But I just went out there and just badmouthed the guy. I badmouthed David Pakman. I said I was going to do something political, which is, again, what's more important is that regardless of the politics you believe in, is that regardless of what other people do, it's how you respond to it that matters. So if you're not liking what I'm doing, you can do it better, then go and do it better. If you like what I'm doing, how can you help me? Again, if you like the direction I'm going, but I just probably need better equipment, how can you help me would be a good question. And instead of just saying, well, how can you help me? How can I make it the easiest path possible to help you help me? It's my fault if you're wanting to help me and you can't or don't have an idea. Let me as a leader, as somebody who's in a position who I need to bring up solutions. That's the most important part. Whether or not people see me as a leader, being something for someone is, you don't have to be something for everyone. You just have to be something for someone. I took that from Joe Rogan once. I mean, I heard that once, and I didn't even hear it. I just read it in the comment section. And it was quoted of him in one of the podcasts. Again, regardless of who technically said it, that is so freaking true. And it was in a point where it was emotionally needed for me to go through that process of that sticking so strongly with me. I may or may not be back today, but this is phenomenal progress. It truly is. Call the function brick, call the function ball. And then call the function paddle. And when I call the function paddle, set the ball in the center. There we go. That's a good ending. There's a lot of information on here that I would probably need to rehash or come back to and why did I put that there? Where am I? If I press play, what's going to run? If I have something functioning, it's going to be so much easier when I come back. If it's broken, well then I need to get to a place where it's functioning. Because if I have something that's broken, I'm probably more likely, I probably don't want to, but I may more likely just walk away from the project or try to find something that would be easier. I want to create this. This would be kind of cool. So, thank you very much for joining me. My name is Timothy Miller. Please post your comments, questions, and concerns right down below. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And also, most importantly, you gotta enjoy your day. It's me telling you enjoying your day. And if you don't, you know what, if you don't want to enjoy your day, you can cross your arms and be like, all you want. Oh, please enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Boop.